All right. For those of you I haven't met, I'm Marc Moffitt. Nice to meet you with the Denton Central Appraisal District. I love coming to this group. You guys are experts in your field. Today, we're going to be talking 100 miles an hour, probably even faster than that. We've got a ton of stuff to cover today. Lots of things going on in the market. Also, a lot of impact to property taxes and how those are going to work out this year. And so I want to work on giving you guys some tips on how to navigate things. Is that all right? Is that good? All right. Thank you. Okay. So we're going to talk about kind of the overall market conditions that are going on right now. You guys are experts on this. Please don't fall asleep. I know you already know this stuff. I'm going to point out some things that you probably don't see, but there are probably going to be a lot of things that you've already seen, okay, that you're already aware of. We're going to talk about the homestead cap limit. We're going to talk about some of the challenges for 2022. We're also going to talk about how you can either do protest yourself or help out clients there, okay? All right, so I want to introduce you to somebody. This is Marc Moffitt and Mrs. Angie Moffitt, okay, back in 2006, okay? Oh, isn't that a sweet couple there? Isn't that great? That's a really young and dumb guy right there that thought he knew everything and just got a real estate license back then and gonna go out there, I'm gonna sell a bunch of property. Hey, you know somebody that's looking to buy or sell? Hey, give them my card. I can help them out. I don't know, I've never written a contract before in my life, but I can help them, okay, right, okay? We've all been there. We've all been fresh agents when we were, years ago and stuff like that. Now we're all seasoned professionals and things. And we pick up a lot of things over time. We learn from our experiences. We learn from the market. We learn from the environment that we're dealing with, all that kind of stuff. All of those relationships, those interactions with clients, things like that, they build us and they make us better over time, okay? And so things also change, okay? So one of the principles that we deal with in the real estate market is that things constantly change. It's a constantly evolving cycle there, if you will, and every day is different, okay? And one of the things I like to say is every day in real estate is a year, okay? And right now, that's especially true. It might be 5 years even, because if your client is not interested in putting in an offer, well, I don't know if I maybe want to go look at another house maybe tomorrow or something like that. You either want it today or you don't, right? Okay, that's kind of the situation. So, but I want to take you back in time here a little bit to not too long ago, okay, to this right here, okay? If you will buy a brand new house from us, we will give you a brand new Mercedes or a Jaguar as part of the deal. And we're going to give you 10 grand in closing costs. And we're also going to give you $25,000 in upgrades on your new home. What do you think?
I think too.
Yeah. Ain't happening anymore, is it? Yeah, okay. So let's scratch out what's not happening anymore. Pretty much kill this, pretty much kill that, definitely kill that. So pretty much all of that has gone away, and the market is nothing like what we used to see there, okay? It's nothing like it. Like I remember when seller paid closing costs. Okay, Grandma, some medicine. All right. Trying to relive yesteryear, okay? But as you guys know, the market has changed so dramatically in the last 24 months, okay? At the end of COVID, or well, not the end of COVID, excuse me. Towards the end of the election cycle of 2020, 2021, we really started to see things just take off. I mean, they have grown exponentially, okay? Let me ask you this. In your mind, I'm just going to take a quick kind of informal poll here, just in your mind. What is a typical rate of growth or appreciation on a standard single-family residential average home? In your mind, just throughout time, if you were to think, well, I can anticipate, maybe X percent a year. What do you think? Over here, what do you think? Somebody over here. 8%, okay. Everybody over here? What do you think? 3, okay. You in the back? 4%. Anybody in the back? 5, 4, 5, okay. How about 20?
Yeah.
How about 20? None of y'all said 20. Why not? Yeah. How much did it go up this last year? 20 plus. Okay. Well, here's the deal. You guys are real estate professionals. You guys are in the business. That's your mindset that somewhere between probably 3 to 8 is probably a realistic long-term average of expectations there. Your clients aren't in the market every day and seeing that properties are appreciating by 2% a month. And on a $400,000 house, that's $8,000 a month that the value of those houses are going up. Your clients aren't able to comprehend that because the numbers are not consistent with what they think, even in their mind, is realistic, either appreciation or inflation, etc. Okay? So a lot of times our clients also believe that inflation is the benchmark that we use to judge how much house prices should go up. Okay, y'all heard that before, right? Well, inflation, because real estate's an inflation hedge, right? It's a hard asset. Okay, we can buy that. It moves with inflation. We've kind of proven that wrong, haven't we? Now, wait a minute. How much is inflation right now? 7? Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure? I'm paying a lot more than that on a whole bunch of stuff that I have to buy. Okay. For the first time in several years, I got cut off at the gas station at $135 instead of 30 gallons on my truck. They said, "Oh, we have to end this transaction. You got to start another one because if you drive off on a stolen credit card, then we don't get our money back on that." So they stop it at $135 on the credit card swipe. That's rough. It wasn't that long ago that it was, $40, $50, something like that. Now it's way more than that. Okay. Your food, of course, the energy costs and everything, stuff like that. I'm gonna get back over here where you can see me online. So, but all of these factors, they're accelerating so rapidly. Okay. And then we've got a massive imbalance of supply and demand in the housing market. Not just in the housing market, but also in the commercial investment market as well. Okay, for those of you, how many of y'all are doing commercial stuff? You list something with a decent cap rate on it. How long does it take? Not long. $1 million deal, $2 million deal. Still doesn't take that long, does it? Says there's investors out there that've got a lot of cash. So something to think about there. So just in the last 12 months here, we've seen appreciation just in Denton County alone, 25% here. Here's your report there for the January deal. Average sales price went from 404 to 507. That's 25 points there. Median sales price went from 332 to 421. So the median home value, 50% of all properties sold, okay, have gone up over $100,000. 10 grand a month in appreciation. Median. That's the median, that's the middle number, okay? And at least 100 grand over here on the average as well, okay? So that's crazy. That's crazy. That ain't like what we talked about a little while ago here. Nothing like this. I mean, this was a $165,000 house. Now it's a $365,000 house. Okay? And things have just changed that much. Real estate market's on fire. Look at that. Those are all the hot markets. No, just kidding. Those are all the wildfires going on. But hopefully we put a bunch of them out yesterday and the day before, maybe today as well as they go across here, whatever. But Texas actually has more wildfires in it right now than California does. That's kind of new, isn't it? Texas is the land of opportunity now, guys. We got a lot of folks moving here from California. Why are they moving here? Cheap. All of the above, right? So I had an interview with one of the news stations not too long ago, and one of the things they asked me was, what's driving? I said, what you got to do is you got to look at two things. You got to figure out what are they running from and what are they running to, okay? Because there's a desire to move when you see this massive population migration like this. What are they running from and what are they running to, okay? Either it's economic, it's political, lifestyle, all of the above, it's family, jobs, all of the above. You know, there's a lot of great things going on in Texas right now. We are the land of opportunity, okay? And so a lot of folks are coming here. Here's what's happening in your inventory. You guys know this already here. Over half of them are sold in less than 5 days. Almost 20% of them are sold in less than 2 days. 76% of all homes under contract in less than 15 days. Your average home is selling at 103% of asking price. So here's the deal. All you guys blogging and posting online about, oh, I got over list price. I got multiple offers over list price. Hey, you just average. You just average that. Okay. I want to see somebody at 25% over list price. You get that, you post that. Okay. You get 25% over list price. I want to see you post about that and close it. And close it. You got it? Looky there. Yeah, awesome. Good deal. But 103% is just average now, guys. That's just what the market is doing now. Okay. That's what's going on right now in the market. Pretty much every deal you've got's got multiple offers on it. So I want to try to put this in perspective for you. This is my kind of, professor hat here a little bit, going and talking about this. Y'all ever heard of a log jam? Okay, a log jam is essentially it's a jam. Basically, it's a situation where goods or products cannot move through the process. Okay. And there is something that is causing that blockade to occur and be exacerbated. And this is what happens. It just backs up. They still do move logs down the river, by the way. They still do that nowadays. But basically what we've got here up at the front, we've got sellers that won't put their property on the market without a place to go. How many of you all experienced that? Okay. I'm not willing to list my house and put it out there until I can find a place to go, because they know that if they become homeless, they might be homeless, right? The other thing is the sellers can't afford to replace the existing homes without the substantial increase of payment. What's happened to our mortgages here lately? Where's my lenders at? What's happening to interest rates? What are you quoting now in 30s? Conventional 30s now.
4.5.
What? What? Man, I refied earlier last year for, yeah, free money. And now it's double that. That's crazy. Behind that, you've got cash buyers who don't care about interest rates, right? If you're paying cash, you don't care about interest rates. It's not a factor. The other thing is you've got investors right behind them that are now, okay, how many of you all are working with investors? Okay, buying some rent houses. Hey, I'm willing to take a break even, maybe a minimal loss on cash flow right now just to get a deal under control. Has that happened to you yet? It's going to happen. These investors are going to be willing to take short-term negative cash flow in order to get control of the deal, because they know that if I get control of the deal, I may lose a little bit. I may lose $2,000 or $3,000 in cash flow throughout the holding period on the first year on that first year's contract. But I'm going to make 10, 15 grand, maybe even more. It's going to be more than that. I mean, if you go up another 10 on that's $40,000. I come out way ahead on the appreciation, right? And then whenever that happens, I can reset the rental rate and probably get back into positive cash flow. Okay. So they're having to hedge and jump out in front of the market there and deal with negative cash flow as a possibility, as a real possibility. Okay. Then you've got all the buyers back here that are competing with sellers of unlisted homes to buy the existing inventory. So these buyers, your normal set of buyers back here at the back, are also competing with those sellers out there who are trying to jump back into the market and buy a home themselves. Okay. Do you see the challenge here with this? Okay. So how do you free this up? How do you free this up? And I don't have a solution for you guys. I'm sorry. I like to think I have a lot of solutions. I give people advice all the time, but I don't have an answer for you on this.
Dang it. I was really thought,
Yeah, well, I mean, I wish I had an answer for you. I mean, really, quite frankly, the answer to this, the solution is to build our way out of it. But the challenge is we've got a supply constraint problem on that front as well. So any which way that you move on a solution for the challenges that we're facing right now, there's not a real good solution. I have a solution. It's not a good solution. And I'm going to get to that here in just a moment, okay? And it's probably one that may end up happening. I don't know. I'm just saying. This is the question I get all the time. When's it ever going to stop? That's the great prophet Vanilla Ice there. Okay? I don't know. I don't have all the answers, okay? All right. This is a slide that I presented last year in May. So almost a year ago, okay? I just started thinking about what would it take to derail the current market conditions, okay? And I just started thinking about, okay, just no limits on the imagination here. What could happen, okay? Nuclear war.
Way to go, Mark.
I was just throwing it out there. I was actually throwing it out there just to kind of be funny about it. But dang, if it's not a real option right now, right? Okay. Another pandemic. I don't know. We'll see what happens on that. A catastrophic global economic event.
Yeah.
Maybe if Russia goes under financially or economically, maybe if China starts doing something economically, maybe if some of the other countries start doing something economically, maybe if the Middle East decides that they're going to shut off oil supplies. I don't know. Maybe those are scenarios that unfold. I don't know. But those are possibilities. Those types of catastrophic hits to the economy overall could have a dent on what we're seeing right now. Okay. Runaway inflation. Again, this was back last year. Runaway inflation, fuel and food. What's happened to that? Commodities, currency devaluation. Yeah, that's happened as well. Okay. A rapid increase in interest rates, 6%. We're headed there, ain't we? Goodness. All right. Significant changes in lender requirements. We haven't seen that yet. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. I don't know. We'll kind of see what happens on that. So let's talk about Mr. Jerome Powell. Jerry, here's what he said the other day. We will take the necessary steps to ensure a return to price stability. If we conclude that it is appropriate to move more aggressively by raising the Fed funds, we will do so. We are not expecting near-term progress on inflation. What's that mean? It means they're going to start jacking interest rates to slow the economy down. They have to. There's the only solution to the problems that we are having right now with respect to inflation and the hotness of the economy is a self-induced recession. That's the only solution. Now, politically, how well does that sell? If you're up for election, are you talking about, hey, we need to slow the economy down? No, that's not one of your talking points, right? That's not happening, okay? But I do think that we have a significant risk right now of Fed policy getting to a point where they overreact, okay? So they've claimed that they are going to get aggressive about it. 6 to 8 months ago, they were saying that it was transitory and we're going to be reactionary. We're going to take a wait and see approach, okay? They didn't raise interest rates as we started to see inflation taking off. So they didn't catch it early. So now they are operating reactionary, okay? They're operating in arrears, okay? And so when that happens there is a bigger risk, there's a greater risk of overstepping and overreacting here. Basically, you may see interest rates go to 6-7%.
By when?
End of the year? I don't know. Look, I'm not an expert. Okay, I'm just telling you what hey, if it happens, call me up and say, man, you remember when you said that? Man, if it doesn't happen, then we'll see you next year. All right. So, but would 6 or 7% interest rates have an impact to Texas? I think so. Here's what's happened the past couple of years. I mean, just in the last 2 years previously, we had 2% decline. We were up over 4 previously. We came down to, it was up over, it was 4 something back then, but it came down below 3. And then now we're back up 1 full percent. This is the average out there, 385. You were quoting 4 1/4. Is that right now?
Well, it depends on credit. But yeah.
What's that?
It depends on credit.
Yeah. But I mean, it's shooting up quickly. I mean, just in the last 6 months here, we're up, at least a point. And, you think about this, a lot of that also, you got to remember that the lenders, the financial markets, if they know that inflation is continuing to go up and they know that the Fed is talking about raising interest rates, what happens whenever the Fed chairman opens his mouth? What happens to rates? Oh, we got a hedge. We got a hedge because you're locking 30, 60, 90 days out, right? What's the longest you can lock for?
90 days.
90. Okay. So you're 90 days out. Can interest rates rapidly change in 90 days? Well, look what they did in 6 months. Okay. And, from a lender's perspective there, they're flipping all those loans out into the secondary market. And if they miss it by a half a point on a deal, they've lost money on that loan. Okay. They're going to lose money on that loan. There's no question. Okay. The margins are that tight on that deal. All right. So 30-year conventional fixed rates increased by more than 30% in the last 6 months. Inflation fears are driving the rate increases. So even before the Fed started talking about raising rates, the financial markets started reacting to inflation. And they were saying, hey, whoa, wait a minute. We can't have any more free money here. We got to get, 3 something points here instead of 1.5 or 2. So I mean, we're starting to bring that up, and that happened even before the Fed decided that they were going to start getting involved. Okay, the average buyer's lost $50,000 in purchasing power on interest rates alone now. Okay, and that's not inclusive. That is just interest rate change alone. That is not appreciation of the same house. You think about it, they've actually lost $150,000 in purchasing power in the last year because the values of the house, that same house is now $100,000 more, and they can afford $50,000 less for the same amount of payment. Okay, that's a big hit. Okay, that's a big hit. Adjustable rates are the arms are showing higher than the conventional right now. Why?
Yeah, there's no benefit to them.
Yeah.
They've been like that for about 2 years now.
So the whole point of an ARM is to have an adjustable rate when the market potentially goes down. Okay. And you don't want to be in an ARM when things are going up. Okay. Right. That's bad. So, but what's happening is the ARMs are now being priced above standard 30 fixed. Okay. And so there's not a way around of getting a better interest rate right now on that. Okay. So let's think about this. What happens to Texas if these things occur? Okay. What happens if mortgage rates go to 6%? What do you think?
High or slow.
Well, they stop.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So they're going to slow down. Okay. All right. So they'll pull back a little bit. Okay.
You'll still have
What if
cash
we-
buyers.
What's that?
You'll have more cash buyers percentage-wise.
You'll still have cash buyers. Okay. I'm going to get to that here in just a second. What if we have a national recession? What if we have a recession? What's that going to do to Texas?
Actually, make it grow again, it's more.
Hey, everybody might start moving to Texas more, It might increase our migration pattern to Texas. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so a recession nationally, people looking for jobs. Hey, Texas got jobs. I'm going to Texas. Everybody's a Davy Crockett, All right. Unemployment begins to increase. That could be an issue there. So here's some things I want you to think about with these as potential scenarios here. Okay. I want you to think about the fact that how many of y'all are having calls from cash buyers saying, hey, find me something. Just give me something. I'll buy it. I got cash. Every one of y'all's got that, right? Okay. You've got cash buyers for something. Okay. Guess what? There's trillions of dollars of cash out there on the sidelines, just waiting to be deployed. Okay. If you think about where the investors are at right now, okay, what's happening in the stock market? It ain't this anymore. Right now it's this, and especially with interest rates looking like they're going to start increasing and stuff like that. There's a lot of folks that are starting to pull cash out of the stock market, and they're either going to bonds or they're going to start looking for fixed income, or they're going to start dumping into the REITs and make the REITs go start picking stuff up. Okay, so the REITs are going to be buyers here. Well, the REITs are out there competing against each other. Okay, and so they got to start taking a look at other options. Well, there's a lot of REITs out there starting to buy single family homes. Yeah. Real estate investment trust. It's Wall Street money, basically. Okay. Wall Street money. All right. So that's an option there. Okay. That's a scenario. The population migration rates of Texas. I mean, we're getting 1,000 people a day moving to Texas. That ain't stopping. It is not going to stop anytime soon. There's so many people across the country that are coming to Texas. Again, the land of opportunity is right here where you guys are at. And then we've also got the issue of election year economic policies. Now, let's go back to Fed Chairman Jerome Powell. Who appoints, hires and fires the Fed Chairman? El Presidente, right? Okay, right? So if I'm a president, if I'm a sitting president, this is not a political conversation, okay? I want you to think about this as an economic conversation, okay? If I'm a sitting president, and I've got a Fed chairman that is on track to wreck the economy leading up to my reelection, what am I going to do? Well, we just couldn't see eye to eye. The American people deserve better. There's your talking point right there, right? Okay. Tell me that's not coming. Okay. Now the Fed chairman is there to control monetary policy and try to regulate the economy to keep inflation in check. Okay. That's one of their That's their charge, okay? That's their duty. But if he starts doing that and then all of a sudden it starts causing problems for re-election, you better believe there's going to be a new Fed chairman. He's going to be retirement. He's going to spend time with family, okay? It's going to happen, okay? All right? The way that you sustain what we call cost push inflation, which is what we are experiencing right now, okay, is through wage increase. That's the only way it's sustained. If your wages stall out, then you're going to have a stall out on what we call cost push inflation trends. Okay. This is state of Texas. Average worker in the state of Texas making $30 an hour now. Okay. 60 grand a year. Average worker. That's the average wages now. Okay. That's pretty darn good, right? Pretty darn good. Okay. Up 10% in the last 12 months, but you can see that the trend has actually accelerated here over the past year and a half, 2 years, as opposed to what's happened historically over the previous 10 or so, okay? Back during our previous recession, 08 to 11, you see things that are fairly flat here. But just from wages alone, I mean, we're up, 50% on average wages from, roughly 10 years ago. Okay, so that's a pretty big factor there. All right, you guys have all read the headlines, okay, before. You've seen some crazy headlines. Let's do it. We hate math, say 4 in 10 Americans. A majority of Americans. Bridges help people cross rivers. Written by Captain Obvious. All right. Homicide victims rarely talk to police. You're kidding. I wonder if the Denton PD knows that. I'm going to talk to him about that. See that. Bugs flying around with wings are flying bugs.
What newspaper do you subscribe to?
This ain't The Onion. This ain't Babylon Bee. I mean, these are real articles. Okay. North Texas home sales dropped for the 5th month in a row. That's our paper right here in town, and also the one in Dallas. Mr. Brown wrote that article.
November 21, I got it.
That wasn't that long ago. North Texas sales dropped for the 5th month in a row.
What's he smoking?
What's he talking about? Quantity of transactions
Sales
has declined. Why? There's not anything, they're not coming on the market. The sellers aren't putting them up for sale because of the issues that we talked about earlier with the logjam, right? Okay. So here's the deal. If you're an average citizen just an average consumer out there in the market. And you read this article, oh, housing market's slowing down. Nuh-uh. Nuh-uh. Okay? There are more real estate agents out there than there are homes for sale. Time for some purging, right? Okay? Need to purge that market a little bit. Okay? They need to find another career. I'm gonna get in real estate. It's easy. So here's what's happening on that front. You're starting to see those 2.5% listings now. 2% listing, buyer's agent fees, right? Some of y'all are putting those out there. Why? Client's telling you, I don't want to pay a full 6 points. I don't want to pay a full 6 points. Well, that's just, you know, I offer premium service, you know, that's just the fee that we just have to have 6%. We can't do it unless it's 6%. Okay. I'll find someone else. Right? Tell me you hadn't had that conversation lately. Okay. And so that dynamic, I mean, I had a friend of mine call me the other day. He's like, man, I'm thinking about just selling my house. And he lives down in San Antonio. He says, man, I think I could probably sell it myself. I said, yeah, you probably could.
10% less than what you get it for.
Maybe. I told him, I said, put it in Zillow, you know, put it out there. I said, honestly, what I would probably do if you're really, really hard considering that, I mean, look, I'm a real estate agent. I'm part of the Realtor Association as well, and I don't like pushing away business. We also have a duty to advise our clients what's in their best interest, you know. But just friend to friend, I just told the guy, I said, call a limited service listing agent, have them put it in the MLS for 1 point, and, you know, see if you can get it that way. You'll probably end up with multiple offers on it, you know. But that's the state of the market right now. I mean, because of the quantity of agents that are out there right now, I mean, we're all competing on fees, right? And the buyers have the upper hand in that conversation. And so for the real estate industry and things like that, you know, we have to be able to discuss, demonstrate, and show the value that we bring to the table that, hey, yeah, you could do this on your own, and you go with a less experienced agent or something like that. You're going to get into a multiple offer situation. You're going to take the highest bid that you've got, and it's never going to close. And then you're going back on the market, and you're going to get less than what you originally listed it for. Right? And the clients don't always see that, right? They don't always see that. But that's part of the talking point, that conversation we have to have, show that value as agents. Okay. All right. So I got a question. I walked in today. I was like, hey, what's going to happen this year? What's going to happen? Tell me what's going to happen. Give me a preview. It's going to be rough, guys. I'm just telling you right now. It's going to be rough. It's going to be rough. Okay. You're going to see clients of yours screaming. It's going to be brutal. Okay.
Bursting into tears in your presence.
Yeah, it is. It's going to be rough. Okay. Go back to the conversation we had earlier about, in your mind, what is your mental expectation of an appreciation rate? Your clients who are not actively engaged with you in the process of buying or selling are not going to realize that the market in the past 2 years has gone up 35, 40%. We've had 2 solid years of 20% gains, guys. It's huge. It's massive. Okay. As a result, and going back to Mr. Brown's article about the reduction in the transaction count, appraising properties is becoming more difficult because the quantity of transactions, you don't have the sample size that you used to have. On any given year, previously, you used to have somewhere between 5 to 8% of any neighborhood's going to turn over every year. That ain't happening anymore. And we're down into 3, maybe 4% of the neighborhood might turn over now. Okay, so your sample size is just not there like it was. And so from an appraisal district standpoint, this has happened all across the state of Texas. If you don't have a large sample size, say back in the previous year, and then all of a sudden you have a whole bunch of sales come through in this current year, okay, and they're showing to be 30-something% higher than they were 2 years ago. You left them alone in 21, and now this year you got to catch up. There's the market there. You're a 20-30% increase. Okay. Again, your clients are going to be very, very frustrated at this. okay? And they're going to have a hard time understanding this, okay? And so there's a lot of factors that go into this, but generally speaking, the overall market in general has just, it's gone crazy, okay? And you guys are living and breathing it every day, okay? What's going to happen here is a lot of your homeowners are going to have what are called homestead caps kick in. Okay, we're going to talk about that. Homestead caps. So here's the illustration of the homestead cap. All right. So y'all watch YouTube. Y'all know some YouTubers. Some YouTubers. Okay. My kids all want to be YouTubers. Okay. They want to play video games and do, you know, trick shots and all that kind of stuff, do perfect and all this kind of stuff. Y'all want to talk about? Y'all seen that? Okay. Mr. Beast. Okay. I got one of them wants to be Mr. Beast. Okay. All right. But anyway, so let's just say that you get Mr. Beast goes and buys a house in a neighborhood. And he says, I'm going to turn this into a cool neighborhood. I'm going to do something. I'm going to give away 10 grand to everybody in the neighborhood when I move in. All right. So anyway, to make the math easy, I'm a finance guy. I can do finance, but I can't do math. So I got to keep this simple here. Okay. All right. So we're going to use a $100,000 house, even though that does not exist anymore. All right. So in year one, this is time down here on the bottom. This is value over here. Okay. And so we're going to start off in year one. Okay. So a property owner purchases a home for $100,000. Okay. We can probably add a zero to all these numbers, actually, as a matter of fact, now is what we could probably do. But if they buy it for $100,000, the market value, what the property is being appraised at, okay, what's being valued at, the market value, which represents this black line here, okay, or, excuse me, I'm sorry, that's the red line actually is market value. The market value and the assessed value, which is what it's taxed on, are both the same number, okay? In year one, they're both $100,000, okay? So what it's worth and what it's taxed at are both $100,000. Everybody good on that? All right, cool. The following year, after the YouTuber moves in, okay, after Mr. Beast goes in there and says, I'm giving away 10 grand, okay, the market value shoots up to $200,000. The market value doubles in 1 year, okay, all right, because now that's where everybody has to be, okay, everybody has to buy something in there, okay. So the market value in year two goes up to $200,000. That's what homes are selling for in that neighborhood, okay. The owner of this home who bought in the prior year is going to have a homestead exemption in place, which is going to put in place also a homestead cap limit, a 10% cap limit, okay? What's going to happen is the market value is going to go up to 200,000. That is what the market is. The taxable value, what they are paying taxes on, is only going to go up to 110. It's only going to go up by 10%. Okay. The 10% homestead cap limitation is a protection barrier put in place by the legislature to prevent scenarios like what we are seeing today from taxes just going through the roof on homeowners. Okay. That is the purpose of that cap limit. Okay. And it is at 10%. Okay. Now, in the following year, Mr. Beast is no longer on YouTube. I don't know what he's doing, or he's not cool anymore. Okay. His like and subscribe went down. Okay. His numbers went down. All right. So the value of the property declines to $150,000. However, even though the market value of the property has declined by $50,000, okay, the taxable value is still going to continue to go up at 10% per year until it catches back up with the market value. Okay. So that again is that protection barrier. Instead of letting it just go all the way up to 200 and or go back down to 150, it caps out and it stair steps on its way up to it catching up with the market value. Okay. Why am I explaining this? Okay. Now think about this. If market value goes out at 200 and they're capped at 110 in year two, and the property owner comes in and they protest, they go to an ARB hearing and they say, there's no way that's worth $200,000. There's no way it went up that much. in 1 year. I don't believe it. Show me the comps. Okay. The ARB says, okay, no, it didn't go up to 200. It went up to 175.
No change in tax.
There is no change in tax liability because they're capped out at 10% over the previous year's taxable value. Okay, you with me? All right. When the value comes back down, the cap limit is still going to stair step until it catches up with the market value. Okay. I want to tell you something. Go back to 2009, 10, and 11. Those were the best years of my life at the appraisal district. They were best years of my life. Somebody would come in, say, hey, man, this thing's too high. So, well, we went down on it. We actually reduced some property values on some of those deals. Yeah, but you didn't go down enough. Okay, well, let's take a look at it. Well, yeah, you're right. Let's get it down some more. Sign off and be done. They were out the door. It's going to be a very challenging conversation this year when I have to explain that, look, even if I reduce your value by 20% or so, it's not going to have any impact on your tax liability. There's no way it can go up this much. Yeah.
Is there any benefit for them to protest on a regular basis to keep it down in case later on it sells and somebody doesn't know the homestead?
You know, I get that question a lot. It's a good question. So each year is independent. Okay. So when I was back working directly with property owners and agents and things like that, I would glance at a previous year, but I wouldn't necessarily make it a benchmark per se. But in the conversation with the property, that's in the context of coming up with the value that I think we need to be at based on the market. Okay. In the conversation with the property owner, I would go ahead and mention, hey, it's X% over last year. It's a bump here or it's a decline here. That way it puts it into perspective for the property. But as far as making my determination, as far as what I was going to use as a value for that year, I didn't really use that as a base per se. I ran the comps and said, you know, okay, well, here's the pattern. Okay, so a good question. So now, establishing cap baselines each year, if you've got the ability to do that, yeah, it may be beneficial to do that because then next year is limited to a 10 points above that, okay, because it compounds, right? So on the flip side of that, if you're in a scenario where there is such a gross disparity between your cap and where the market value is, and unless you show that your house flooded or burned, you're not getting down to below that cap. I mean, it may not make much sense there. Yeah.
In that regard, let's say you've got a house or two in a neighborhood that for whatever reason is is being taxed at well below what everybody else's house is being taxed at. Okay. So I have a neighbor, like I'm paying almost $10,000 a year. My taxes actually went up when I filed for my over 65. They changed mine, which has never happened to me 18 years old. Okay. I have a neighbor who
Can I call time out on this? I know where you're going on this.
How does that work for them though? Does that eventually?
I need to see the situation. That is the only answer I can give you. I have done presentations like this a million times, and I always get a question about what about my neighbor? I need to see the neighbor. I need to see that because all I can do, I can tell you, it might be this, it might be this, it might be this, and every one of those are wrong. And I don't want to go through that.
So my question is, if it's my house where I've got a favorable whatever this below, will it eventually catch up to the market?
You know, everything's supposed to be on the same page, basically. You know, similar properties should be treated similarly. If you've got an older neighborhood that has a lot of variety in it and variation in its conditions and things like that, you might see more variation in that scenario. But I really need to look at what's going on there before I make a comment on that. Because like I said, I've stuck my foot in my mouth a whole bunch of times, and I don't do that anymore. So that's part of me getting older there and stuff like that. Okay. All right. So these are some of the challenges here. But great question. Thank you. I appreciate that. The appraisal district is required to be at 100% of market value as of January 1st. Okay. This is part of the conversation that you want to have with your clients is that you don't want to pull comps in the summertime when they're protesting. You want to pull them between, say, November and January or something like that, okay? So try to get around that time frame of January 1st to pinpoint that. If you're going up 2 points a month, and you are in June pulling comps, you're 10, 12% higher, right? Okay, so if you're seeing that appreciation rate, you're 6 months past that benchmark, then those comps that you're going to be pulling are going to be higher than where they need to be. Okay. The sales prices have gone up significantly in every area of the county. I promise you, we will get conversations. We will have talking points from folks saying about it ain't happening out in Slidell. How many of y'all are doing stuff in there in Slidell? Guess what? It's happening out there, isn't it? Okay. It ain't happening in Valleyville. Oh, yes, it is. Okay. It's not happening in the far reaches of the county. Oh, yeah, it is. Okay. It's everywhere. Okay. A lot of your homeowners are going to see significant increases in market value. They're going to be significant. I'm going to go ahead and preview the newspaper for you. Heart attack from appraisal district, 35-40% increase in market value. Woman flips out. I didn't mean to say it that way. Man flips out. Okay, sorry. Oh, I'm going to take that back. That's right. That's right. Okay. So
Mark's okay though.
but this is going to happen. I mean, you're going to have outrage. It's going to happen. Okay. The benefit to the homeowners again is that homestead cap, and those are going to be kicking in on a lot of properties across the county this year. Okay.
What is the deadline annually
30 days after the deadline
to file?
to file, 30 days after the date of the notice. I don't have that set yet. I'm working on it. Okay. So check the notices there. It's been very important.
You said for homestead.
Oh, for homesteads,
Yeah.
up to 2 years in arrear.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So just get it done.
Okay.
Just don't come see us. All right.
And on that point, right now, everybody can file immediately for their homestead. We don't have to wait.
Yeah,
till
exactly.
January.
Law changed on that. So yes, they can file immediately. Don't have to wait. All right. So a lot of your appeals, property owners are going to come in. They're going to be successful in getting a reduction in market value. It may not have any benefit to their tax liability. Okay. I'm not going to say that there's no point, but at the same time, we need to have a conversation about, what is the benefit? Okay. I'm not going to ever try to talk anybody out of filing a protest and going through with that, getting a reduction value. I don't ever want to be, seen as that. But at the same time, I think we need to be realistic about our expectations on reductions in tax liability as a result of the way that the market is right now. Okay. Non-owner occupied, rent house owners, they're getting hit. I'm gonna be honest with you, they're getting hit hard this year. Okay.
Why is that?
They don't have the cap limit. They don't have a homestead cap in place. Yeah. So,
So they just pass that on to.
well, market rent is market rent. So it's going to be significant. Okay. So it's going to be a big impact to a lot of landlords this year. Okay. So just know that we're going to have quite a few protests this year. Last year we had over 110,000 protests. We're going to probably have even more than that. It's going to take a little while to work through those. Okay. So just be patient on the response times on that.
Question more?
Yes.
Going back to that. When you, can you go back to that? When you talk about the homestead cap and all this stuff, and you're seeing significant increases in market value, and you said if we want to appeal or protest to get those comps between November and January. Correct.
Yeah.
If you do that, when you go to protest at DCAD, they pull their comps from that year. From the time not in the 2021 or 22, they pull their comps from the current year. How do you deal with that?
So I think one of the talking points there is, hey, we're trying to establish January 1st. And I can tell you the staff is aware of the rate of change that's taking place. They're very aware. And so, but also kind of going back to the Steve Brown article about the quantity of transactions. You know, you pull up comps in a neighborhood and there's only 2 comps in the time frame in which we want to be in. And the other comps are here either recently or way back. Okay. Well, what do you do? Which one do you keep and which one do you throw out? Are they all good or are they all bad? You know, and that's the question you just have to kind of play with. Sometimes, you know, in an appraisal, if you're an appraiser just trying to do a deal on a mortgage, you guys have all run into this, you know, where the house doesn't appraise, okay, right? And simply that the selection of the comps that are available to value the house just aren't there to produce the value that you're needing. Okay, and so it could be a timing issue. It could be that the comps that they're selecting, the appraiser is selecting, are maybe close to that 6-month end window on what they've got on the Fannie Freddie guidelines and stuff. So, you know, sometimes you just have to play the hand you're dealt on what your selection criteria is available. If you have to go outside of the neighborhood, I think it lessens the credibility of the comps that you're using. I'm not saying it makes them invalid. But, you know, each neighborhood's got its own little nuances, right? So the preference is always to stay in the neighborhood there on that. So,
Well, you touched on something very important, and I'm sorry that you have time, but you said some houses don't appraise. And a lot of these houses don't appraise. So you've got these people who are paying ridiculous amounts of money, full appraisal waiver. So I have a client who just bought a house, $1 million house. It appraised at $820. So GDWCAR or whoever the taxing authority is going to see that $1 million market price. So the appraisal doesn't count for anything on that. It's the actual market price. Is that correct?
let me put on professor theory, appraisal theory hat here. Okay. Let me ask you this. If that guy turned around and sold that house now, would they sell it for $820?
No.
I'm asking the rest of you. I ain't asking you. No. Asking everybody else in the room. What do y'all think? Is he going to sell it for $820? Is he going to sell it for probably $1 million?
Or more.
So what happens is in any kind of increasing market, okay, the next transaction that occurs, each subsequent transaction that occurs sets the new market for that neighborhood as the market evolves, okay? Keep in mind, if you're looking at a sloping line with points on it here going up, okay, that if you're up here and you're trying to pull comps from down in here that have sold in the last couple of months, well, yeah, they're going to be lower, 2 points per month lower on average, okay? So, and that may be the scenario. And so again, at the time, let me ask you this, play along if you will, okay? All right. So you saw that house, you helped them with that house, right?
Yes.
Okay. Did you tell them it's only worth $820?
No.
Why not? You are a fiduciary. You have to protect your client. It's in the state code. You mean you didn't tell them it was only worth $820? I cannot believe. Tell me your name. What's your truck number? What's your license number? You did not protect your client, and you made them sign that appraisal waiver and everything.
I didn't make anything sound.
Oh, they did it on their own free will. Okay.
However, no,
Now-
I think you misunderstood my question. So what I was asking is not that they don't appraise, but it's market. They only go by market value, correct?
So, in that situation, what is market value? Is market value what the appraiser thought?
No, market value.
What's the market value?
Okay.
Market value is what's willing, ready, and able to pay.
Okay.
So do the appraisal districts go on? They're going on what it sold at. They don't care about anything else because nobody else knows what the buyer knows about what the appraiser said. So
Yeah.
anything, whatever's going on, it's only on.
Your client made the best decision they could at the time.
Yeah.
Okay, right,
They're
I mean,
happy, they're happy with the house.
Yeah, they love it,
I'm
right?
just asking about the taxes.
they ain't gonna be happy when they get that tax bill. Yeah,
So, no, so I'm saying, what they're saying is, it's gonna be on that.
so the question is how to make the argument, in that scenario.
No,
Okay,
that's
so-
not, no, what I'm asking is, it doesn't matter what the appraisal does for, as far as the financing is concerned. We're only concerned with what the market value is and what the appraisal district does after that. So this down here doesn't count, is what I'm saying.
Right, so there are plenty of scenarios, and I've had this happen when the market was declining. I've also seen it when the market is shooting up rapidly, okay?
Okay.
So when we go back and we appraise as of January 1st, it is possible that a home that sold in early 21, okay, a home that sold in early 21 for X price receives an appraisal notice at a number that's substantially above what they paid for it. They bring in their closing statement and they say, hey, I just paid this in February of 21. Why can't you get to this number? Well, the market's changed 20% since you bought the house as of January 1st. Does that make sense?
So.
And I've also seen it go the other way as well.
So I was gonna say conversely, if it goes down, then
Yeah.
we make that up. Okay.
Absolutely. So does a purchase price necessarily set or fixate a value? Not necessarily, but it's usually a pretty good indicator. Okay, so let me finish my presentation here. I do want to come to you. I know you got a great question there. Okay. All right. So how to file? File online. Encourage your clients to file online, please. Okay, that is the easiest, quickest way. They will get an immediate response notification that they did file. All that kind of stuff. Multiple property owners can also go into what's called the owner and agent portal there. They can file multiple protests as well. You can also mail it in, or you can bring it down if you want to stamp it. We'll stamp it for you in our office there. Okay. All right. Now, here are some suggestions that I'm going to recommend either for you helping out your clients or for advising your clients on how they can be successful here. Okay. Number one, have a specific number in mind. Okay. I'm going to give you a conversation that went just like this. Okay. Hey, how's it going? My name's Mark. Nice to meet you. Pleasantries out of the way and stuff like that. What do you think we need? We notified you at 300. What do you think we need to be at? I don't know. It's too high. Okay. So did you have a number in mind that you were thinking need to be at? I don't know. It's too high. It's just too high. How did it go? It went up. Okay. But did you have a number that you thought that it should be? How did it go up so much? Are we getting anywhere?
No.
Y'all have had these conversations with clients. Well, what do you think you want out of the house? What would make you happy? I don't know. Yeah. Well, that's not enough. 10 offers over list price. Well, do you think we should raise the price? Tell me that hadn't happened. Did we list it too low? All right. Need to have some data to support your opinion, okay? Strongly held beliefs are different than points of data, okay? Fist pounding is not effective, okay? And you guys don't do that, okay? But having points of data really helps out the argument there on that, okay? Stay focused on the facts and the data. Stay away from generalizations. I'm going to have 100 people bring in Steve Brown's article, okay, this year. About thousands of people going to bring in Steve Brown's article. The real estate market is slowing down. Home sales fall. Chicken Little, okay? And that's going to be the basis of their argument as to why the property should not have gone up in value this year, okay? So again, we need to be focused on the points of data there on that. Also, stay focused on the value, not the rate of change, okay? Going back to the explanation that I spoke of earlier there. In a prior year, the district may not have had enough sales in that neighborhood. There may have been only one home that sold in that neighborhood. The district is not going to change an entire neighborhood based on one sale unless they can pick up something or see a pattern in the area. Generally speaking, they're not going to do that, okay? They need to be able to defend what they've done, okay? And so if there's one sale or no sales in the prior year, and then now all of a sudden there's 5 sales this year, well, there's a pattern, okay? And so you may have had no change in the market value in a previous year, okay? And now all of a sudden you're seeing 30–40% increase in market value. The value is not necessarily wrong, it just went up a lot, okay? It just changed a lot as a result of either not having a data set or having a data set in one year or the other, okay? Photos of damage and documentation are good, okay? Make sure they're clear, don't need cat pictures, right? You're a lot of cat pictures, okay?
He's a dog man.
It always likes to get up. Always likes to get up in that camera for some reason. Always happens. I get a lot of cat pictures. Okay, all right. And then you know, if the owner is really passionate about things and they're not satisfied with the response that they've got, they can always go to the ARB. Okay, and it's just a little mini hearing. That's all it is. They'll basically make their presentation, their evidence, what they think the value should be, and the panel will rule on that. Okay. They are independent of the appraisal district. They remind us every day, you ain't my boss. You know, you're not the boss of me, is what my kids say, and things like that. But they are completely separate and independent from the appraisal district there, and they make their own decisions. Okay. Years ago, I had a deal. You can't make this stuff up. Okay. I had a deal. Guy had a house over in Wellington and Flower Mountain. All right, get me out of here. All right. Take pictures of my. Yeah, hey, remember from here up, okay? Here up, okay? I had a guy over in Wellington and Flower Mound, had about a 3,000 square foot, 4-bedroom house over in Wellington and Flower Mound. Nice area, right? Okay. So anyway, he brought me comps and I was looking through them and I was like, Applegate, Beechwood, Cherry Hill, Dogwood, Forest Glen. Man, I grew up on it. Forest Glen. Man, what was your selection criteria on these comps? But what was, because like these are over in Louisville and your house is over in Flower Mound. These are in the valley off Old Orchard, Maine, and you're over there 6 miles to the west. Oh, well, my real estate agent just pulled all the 4-bedroom homes and sold.
With the lowest price.
I looked down there at the bottom of it and I recognized the name, okay, of the agent, okay? And I was like, I know that guy. But anyway, I said, and here's the crazy thing. 3 weeks prior, I did a presentation at a Rotary Club meeting down there in Flower Mound and he was there. And I told him what to do on pulling comps, okay? And I said, I need you to do me a favor, all right? I can get to this number today. Does that work for you? Yeah, I guess that's good. Okay, well, let's sign up. All right, I need you to do me a favor. I want you to go back to your agent and you tell him that Marc Moffitt said to call him because I told you how to pull comps. And like a week later, the guy walks in and he's helping out another client. I said, I need to talk to you. You come here. Come here now. You in trouble. Okay. And I pulled it over. I said, dude, I told you how to pull comps and you sending people in here with all this bad information and they get upset. Guess what? That client no longer believes that you're credible and reputable in the market. Okay. So you probably just lost a client on that deal because you gave them bad information. Okay. It really happened. I'm not kidding. I can't make this stuff up.
Did you get mad or say thank you?
He said, oh man, I'm so sorry. I'm like, man, dude, don't do that, man. You're hurting yourself. You're hurting your clients. Okay, don't give them bad information. We're going to need to talk about the homestead cap with folks this year. That's going to have to be a topic of conversation. You're going to have to explain how that works and how it impacts their scenario. And talk about that appeals process and how to file and how to, argue the case, stick with talking points and all that kind of stuff there. The other thing that you can do, a lot of agents have started just handling stuff for their clients. Okay. I'll tell you the benefit of this. Okay. Barbara, you come in on a regular basis. Okay. And when she meets with an appraiser, okay, this is the conversation on each one of her properties. Okay. All right. We're looking at this street, property ID 12345. We notified you at 200. Barbara, where you at on that one? I need to be at about 150 on that one. Okay. I'm probably about 165, 167 on that. Does that work for you? Yeah, I think we can probably sign on that. That's good. the conversation is over that quickly on that property, okay? On average, with a regular homeowner, it probably takes anywhere between 12 to 15 minutes to have the same conversation and come to the same conclusion, okay? And the issue there is that the rabbits get chased. What about this? What about this? What about this? What about this? Well, I heard this. What about this newspaper? Have you read the newspaper? Okay. I get asked if I live under a rock all the time for these years. Okay. So, but the point I make there is you as a real estate professional, if you show up and you're like, hey, I got this account, I represent these people here, try to work something out. The conversation is very quick, very pointed. We're getting down to business. We're figuring out what we got to do. We're signing off on it. We're getting done. Okay. So there's an efficiency of the system that helps out there on that from realtors representing their clients and just saying, hey, I'm going up there anyway on my deal. If you want me to do yours for you, I will. It's a great way to build relationships and stay in front of your clients and things like that over the years. So something to think about. Okay. All right. It's not a hard process. Yeah.
But if you can't charge.
Now, okay, so you cannot charge a fee for doing the appeal for them, okay, unless you take the property tax class and get signed off on a registration with GDWCAR, okay? So just remember that, don't charge a fee, okay? All right, you're getting it on the back end, okay? All right, gratuitous agency is what we call that, right? All right, also, if you are interested in being a resource for property owners to provide free of charge service, thanks, brother, it's good to see you as always. If you are interested in doing that, go ahead and send an email to helpdesk@dentoncab.com and tell them you want to be on the realtor list. Okay. We will put your name in alphabetical order on the realtor list, basically of individuals who are willing to offer free assistance to property owners there. Okay. Generally speaking, send them a couple of comps and say, hey, call me if you have any questions about the market. If I can ever help you sell a home, let me know. Okay, so there's an opportunity there again to get in front of folks. Okay, so there's now, again, things change over time. I never knew that I'd end up with 3 great kids. I call them great. We'll ask Angie about them tonight when I get home. But back then I was young, I was dumb, I didn't know anything. And years later now, 15 years later, I got a great family and all that kind of stuff, but things change over time, okay? The market changes, things like that. We have to evolve, we have to adapt, okay? So now I'm dealing with, teenager problems now. And I was dealing with, just being single or just being, a newlywed couple, and then diapers and all that kind of stuff. But, we evolve, we change over time and stuff like that. And so, this market is nothing like I've ever seen. Okay, I've been through 3 cycles in my real estate career in general, and this is definitely a challenging scenario there. Okay, and what's going to happen? I don't have that crystal ball, but I think Texas is going to remain strong overall, just because of the underlying fundamentals of our economy. But anyway. I hope these are some tidbits and some tools that you all can use to help your clients understand the process and be more successful with their appeals. If I can ever help you with anything, most of you have my number. If not, call up at Appraisal District, ask Marc Moffitt. I'm always here to help. Okay, I love you guys. I love being here. So thank you.